All right, welcome to Wednesday, February 16th. Today's reading will be Numbers, chapters 1 through 3. Today is also the anniversary of Lisa and my becoming a couple. It's February 16th. It was a Friday back in 1990. There was a snow day before. Supposed to be at a wrestling tournament that evening, that Friday evening in Churchill High School. Everything was canceled due to a light dusting of snow. And so waited till 2 days after Valentine's Day because, I didn't have a dime to my name and couldn't get her anything for Valentine's Day. So we took the LTD bus that day, went over to Lane County Fairgrounds, and the ice rink was brand new. Skated, and that was our first date, and got home, and she had principles. I went in for the kiss, and she said she wouldn't kiss me if I wasn't her boyfriend, and so there we go. It's hard to believe that was 32 years ago. Happy anniversary on that. All right, so we're getting to the book of Numbers. Don't let the first couple chapters here throw you off, and at all. There's some great stories in here. There is some long reading. Matter of fact, I thought, hey, let's do 4 chapters a day since you're going to be skimming a lot of this. Some of this is repeat, and it just repeats numbers, hence the name, in every tribe. But a couple of these were long, decided not to go with that. So when you go through Numbers, remember, Israel needs to know who they are. They need an identity. That's coming around, but now they need to know how many of them there are. How many of us are there? And to get organized, and that's all coming. The identity of a nation is really being solidified. So we find in the census that there are 603,550 men over the age of 20, 20,000 Levites. Now we figure if we multiply that times 2, for every man you're going to have a woman, married or single, whatever the case is, and let's just say maybe 1 kid per adult. Who knows? Because none of the people that are under 20 are numbered here. So that would make this at least 2 million people. And all that just kind of, I don't know exactly. So this census really covers the people who crossed the Red Sea and the people who were at Mount Sinai. And so when we see the artwork having Moses cross the Red Sea on dry land, and there's only no, there was a couple million. Imagine feeding all those people. Imagine, so hence God having to send manna and birds. Now in chapter 2, it's interesting because the way that these tribes lay out, with Judah being the largest and how the numbers interact with each other, this would form, when you're seeing it from, I think, the west, it would look as if the whole camp was a large cross. Now, that's if they put their camps in exact columns. I really doubt they did that. I figured they probably all just made their camps all around instead of at 90-degree angles. But if not, then that'd be pretty cool. When Balaam comes up over the hill and looks over there, he would have been seeing a cross, possibly. Chapter 3 here is more specifically about the Levites, since they're not in the first 2 chapters. But now here's some interesting things. See, this is why we do things like this. How many times we read Numbers chapter 3 and never really put this together? Verses 12 and 34 seem to indicate that there is a shift in God's policy regarding the firstborn. Remember, he said, hey, the firstborn is mine. Now he's saying, you know what, I'll take the Levites instead. Now, I've tried to read and study and find out, well, if God is all-knowing, then why did he change his mind? Why did he give that policy? Then all of a sudden, why is it changed? Why is it different? I haven't found an answer for that yet, but it's, to me, something that's interesting. But even if God did change his policy, then why did he give us a different policy in the first place? I don't have an answer for that one yet. But it wasn't until this time reading through that I saw, which is plain as day, you probably saw it every time, that the number of Levites was the exact same number as the number of the firstborn of all the Israelites. So now when we see that the extra Levites needed to be redeemed, and now that makes Leviticus 27's placement at the end of Leviticus seemingly out of order. Now it makes sense, because what we're talking about is we're talking here about a singular vow. The Bible fits. The Bible's perfect. It's where it's supposed to be. and we even learn something from these somewhat laborious chapters. And remember, some of this is going to, numbers are going to start getting a little bit better. For a couple chapters here, there's going to be, maybe some rough reading. But just like I said yesterday, sometimes it's the small things, sometimes it's doing things we don't want to do. And sometimes life's just made up of those little things we don't want to do. And sometimes we just force ourselves to do them. I hope this is helpful for you today. My reading was, I enjoyed that study, actually learning a couple new things today. Have a great Wednesday, and looking forward to seeing tonight at Bible study.